Hello there, let's make it quick. Isekai gets a bad reputation because of how overly saturated the genre is within anime, and unfortunately 90% of shows out there are either boring and mediocre to straight up just bad. And it sucks because like our fellow domestic girlfriend fan Gigguk, I too actually do like watching Isekai. Don't judge me here. Anyways, I grew to like Isekais because I like the fantasy genre in general. You got your Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter types of tropes, and Isekai's primary genre is fantasy medieval. Granted, there's other Isekais out there that are not primarily fantasy medieval, like the Saga of Tanya the Evil and like Spirited Away in some shape or form. And for what it's worth, Isekai is still a popular genre, and many people have said before Isekai is like trash reality TV shows. Even though you know it's bad, you still watch it for whatever reason. But today's video discussion is about the fantasy because I found a manga recently that has the potential to be a really good fantasy story, even though it has the tropes that most people hate about the Isekai genre, like an overpowered black-haired protagonist. Now hear me out. The overpowered can be done very well since there have been plenty of examples that were executed well with this trope that people seem to agree, like Rimuru from Tensura.
死ね。神の怒りに焼き貫かれて。メギド!
Overlord. The Eminence in Shadow. The Japanese military. Plenty of anime and manga have done this trope before. It's just how well an author is able to implement that characteristic into a story, I guess. Now, as I was saying, the manga that I recently discovered, I actually see its potential of turning into a great manga. The manga explores new concepts and ideas, all the while implementing the generic isekai tropes that you would see anywhere, and adding something new to a genre that's completely overly saturated. It's something I appreciate a lot since, as I said, I actually do like isekai. I say manga, not anime, because the strong points of this manga is its artwork. It's only at 16 chapters at the time of making this script, and we don't know whether or not the series will get cancelled. We'll just have to wait and see. A lot of isekai, even though it has an interesting premise or gimmick, it sometimes is being brought down by its artwork or animation. Like a lot of the popular isekai out there have decent or great animation, and with a decent enough premise, it actually can be a really good story. Same goes for manga in some ways. This series really benefits from its very clean art, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong when a manga title has an extremely long name. Well, that's nothing new to isekai, but people might ignore it because of the long title. Anyways, the English title is this. Here's the Japanese name. I don't want to bother about the intricacies as to why a title is this long. TLDR, it's most likely adapted from a light novel, and many of them are titled like this. I'll just call it Exiled Member for now, for clarity's sake, I guess. The chapter starts off with an adventurer named Ed being confronted by his party members about wanting Ed to be removed from the party. In a scenario when you are getting kicked out of a party, you get upset, but Ed here seems to be delighted that this happened, and it then gets explained that Ed transported into another world. Ed was given some sort of trial where in order for him to return to his original world, he has to somehow get exiled or banished or removed from 100 hero parties from 100 different worlds, with condition that whenever he completes the world, he gets a brand new skill. So by the start of this chapter, he completes this task. He has managed to get kicked out of every hero party from 100 different worlds for the past 100 years. And it's covered that every time he completes a world, he just goes back to the dorm room, reverting everything back physically, even if he has gained any muscle or fat when living through that world. And this happens right at the start of the first chapters, and I sit there wondering where's this manga heading to, because the story is practically over where it could have been about him going through different worlds and meeting new characters. So he completes all 100 worlds, right? And now the door leading to his original world has appeared without any time passing so that he can return to the day he was isekai'd in the first place. But unbeknownst to him, a key falls from the sky, and what this key does is that he is able to revisit one of the 100 worlds he has completed, so that the door to his original world will open. So he picked the very first world, but it showed that 10 years have passed in that world, so he visits just for some nostalgia and wondering how the hero party is going. Now, as Ed enters the world, he has discovered that bad things have happened and the world was destroyed by the Demon King, and the hero is dead. He meets with his last surviving friend and finds out the reason why the party has failed is because Ed was kicked out, because during his time with the party, Ed was essentially their helper. He would carry luggage, cook food for them, and all around being the best support so that the heroes can focus on killing the monsters. But due to Ed getting kicked, they soon realized that he was also a vital role in helping with the adventure, because all of those small things that were proved useful, and due to this, the party has lost to the Demon King. With Ed knowing the full story, he became shocked from this news and seemed to feel regret. And remember that every time he completes a world, he gets a brand new skill. So the final skill he obtained from the 100th world is the ability to bring his memories to his past self, thus able to know the events that will happen. So now he will try again to complete the 100 worlds again, but this time ensuring that each world gets a happy ending. This plot has been done so many times that I actually hate the stories of characters knowing future events, because they already are OP at the start. Why add that element? But personally, I think this manga has done well in establishing the plot for what it plans to set forth in the future. If the manga were to continue and not get cancelled, the journey it has is actually not bad. So far in the story, the other side characters were pretty great, and I grew to like them pretty quickly as they added more value to Ed's motivations, and seeing the other characters get a spotlight on their own has made me like the story more. But we have only seen one world so far, and I have never read the light novel, so it's still cooking. And I hope for this series to last long. As I said before, the artwork is actually carrying the story for me, even though it has good characters. Like, if the art wasn't as good, I will probably be not as invested, but I think the characters were written pretty good that I realistically might have continued reading even if the artwork wasn't as polished. I am glad in saying this that so far this isekai has been one of the best I have read in a long while. So if you want to read something new yet also something familiar, I'd highly recommend giving this manga a shot and hopefully able to support the series so that it can go on for a bit longer. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you are new. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.